Good evening and happy Halloween to all of you. Welcome to the stock. Sorry about that. Welcome to the StockMentor.com studios, temporarily located in the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. I'm here in my hotel room with my son. We are preparing for tomorrow's game. It is Halloween. And I'm going to do this video early because I will not have any time to do anything tomorrow. So I thought I'd do that for you. I hope you guys enjoy the video itself. Um, all right. So we are starting a new week here. Uh, we had quite a some good volatility last week. Lots of good moves up and down, made for some fantastic trading. But but we're about to enter a new week, and what we want to be looking for ultimately is I think we're going to see some chop early in the week. I am playing it as such. I am, in the grand scheme of things, looking for a move between 1,000 and 1020 on the S&P. If we get that move down into that area someplace, I'm going to feel a lot more confident kind of about things here going forward. For the time being, we're just going to look at the charts and see what the charts are telling us and take it from there. So excited about the game and can't wait to get started, but there is still work to do. So let's dive into it here and talk about what we've got coming up for the week. On the 60-minute chart, this is the Dow. You can see I've been talking about this channel. The channel has not been broken. Now, last week I had this trend line drawn a little bit differently, and it looked like we had popped up and above it and now come back into it. Ultimately, over the weekend, got to looking at it again and kind of readjusted my trend lines ever so slightly so that all of this is kind of encased in it. This just makes more sense to me. So went ahead and we are still basically in this channel on the Dow. That was my one caveat, my one bullish scenario. But based on what I've seen from the SPX and the Nasdaq, I just really think that the Dow is not leading and that it is lagging, and it just has not made the bigger move downward that the other indices have seen quite yet. So I think ultimately it's going to end up coming down here. And if it never breaks this channel, I'm still not going to be looking at this as a bullish sign at this point, just because of what I saw in the other indices on Friday. So let's just take it for what it's worth. It is stuck still in this channel. We could see it bounce off this lower trend line and maybe head back towards this upper trend line here. And that might come earlier in the week. I don't see it early in the week, though, coming all the way up to the top trend line. The Dow, I think, is just going to kind of, if we get a small bounce on Monday, I'm looking for maybe just a move back up here into this area here. I don't even know if it'll get that high. Actually, it might only make it back here to about 9,800. And then ultimately would like to see it roll over and either retouch this bottom trend line, or even better would be to break out of the bottom of it. And as you can see on the daily time frame here, what we've seen here is a break of this channel and a break, a close on or around the 50-day moving average, which we've already seen the other indices do. So I think that the Dow is just lagging. I think it's just going to do a little bit of catching up this next week to where those guys are at, the rest of them are at. If we move ahead, you can see this Nasdaq on a 60-minute. If I drew a trend line in, it would come down just like so. But ultimately, this thing's coming right back down into some pretty heavy support down here at the 1660 area. You can see it a little bit better on the daily. And that's this area here. So this big fat green line is ultimately where I'm seeing the Nasdaq take a bounce. And it might actually bounce a little bit before the other indices do. So don't be surprised if early in the week you maybe see the Nasdaq touch a low and then head up. And maybe the Nasdaq goes up, but the other indices go down ever so slightly. I'm just saying be aware of that. I do think in that case, though, that the Nasdaq is still leading. It's just maybe ahead of the other, like the S&P, by maybe a day or so. So if we do see the Nasdaq bounce off this line, maybe it sneaks down here and retests this before coming back up. But if it as this line starts to bounce again. Look for the NDX to, or the S&P to do the same thing, but it might be a half a day later, a day later. I just expect some chop early on. NDX on a weekly, you can see us coming right back down here to the support. Break below that takes us back to the 20-week moving average and this upper trend line, which I'm pretty certain that it's going to bounce or at least pause down here. It would be very, very bearish if it just blasted right through all of this and continued on its way down. SPX on a 60-minute. Ultimately, this is what I want to